Hello, my name is Derek and this is the Gateway Log. This channel and this video is essentially about my journey using the Gateway tapes and the skills learned from the Gateway tapes, where I go through my experiences, I report them as I experience them, and it's up to you to decide if it's real or not. That is the big thing with this channel, is I'm not here to tell you that it's real or not real. I'm just here to tell you what I experienced and take it for what it's worth, because ultimately I'm just a dude on the internet. Today's video is going to focus on my experiences from December 30th through this morning, January 4th. And I'm going to go through what I did. I also got some crystals involved as well, because I do have a crap load of crystals that I've acquired since September. I went from having zero interest in crystals to having over 100 spheres, probably 30 towers, crap load of moldavite and other just chunk. It's a problem. Anyways, so last I checked in, so some of the big learns I've had from recent, really since my big hits, was I was able to remote view a number, or really a remote hear a number from a person's envelope 3,000 miles away. I was able to remote view them in a car, speaking out loud. I also remote heard them, or clairaudient, of them fighting with their dog, yelling out a particular phrase. And then I went to a past life regressionist who I started to channel some kind of vibration through my voice. I saw a gray alien in my mind's eye, and then my voice was kind of taken over. It was nuts. So this kind of takes place from that day, what I started to see. And I'll be honest, not as exciting as probably the previous 2 weeks, which I think I have a reason for that, and I'll get into that. But it was amazing. And then this week feels like I'm kind of resetting, and I have to reset expectations, because as you start to get really excited about things, you want it a little more, and when you want it more, it usually doesn't happen. So I'm trying to learn how to balance. I will say that before I started all of this from my past life regression therapy, which actually took place on December 30th, I got a random text message from a family member who I hadn't been really actively in touch with for many years. And then all of a sudden, I started connecting with them the last couple of weeks, and then they asked for a crap load of money as a loan. And I just, I'm not going to do it. But that has been on my mind all week, and trying to get rid of it, because I want to be a good person. I want to be nice, but I also don't want to be taken advantage of. And I feel like that's what's happening. So knowing that, that's what's been going through my mind this week. And I think that's been stifling me a little bit. But that being said, there's a lot of stuff to talk about. So let's get started. December 30th, after my past life regression, in the alien experience, or whatever you want to call it. Some people have said I was channeling an energy. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I just saw a gray alien in my mind's eye again. So after that, later that day, in the evening, I used the Expand app, which is by the Monroe Institute, and I used their free flow Focus 21. I did reach the Focus 21 state and remained there for an extended period of time. Visuals were very minimal, and it was nuts. Now, I will say that I was experiencing goosebumps like crazy. I was just getting them every few moments, and I didn't have any clear visuals of a reason why. Just goosebumps kept happening and happening. Then I saw a shadowy figure briefly moving around me, kind of like circling me. I've had that happen before, but I did visually see that. I will say that I was very tired from the day, because that past life regression took a lot out of me. So I was clicking out of that meditation a lot. And again, clicking out is kind of like you fall asleep and you wake back up in the middle of it. At the start of the meditation, also, when I got started doing it, I was swaying. I felt like I was being pushed back and forth like this, like I was being thrown on the beach, but very, very much like that. And it was hard to shake that feeling for a bit. It was, nothing wrong with it. It was just, I don't usually feel like that when I do these meditations. So that was the end of December 30th. December 31st, New Year's Eve, I did the Focus 12 free flow in the Expand app. I saw trees and stumps swirling into roots, which transformed into symbols flying at me. And when I say symbols, I'm talking runes, It looked like a kind of like the Matrix, like all those like really sharp edged lines, and it was an alphabet I couldn't read, and it was just flying at me. And then there were symbols that were nature based. Like I remember seeing like tree symbols and a couple of animal symbols. I can't remember the animals. Um, and then there was like one that was like a backward F. And that was the only one I could hold on to. When I came out, I wrote it down. It was just backward F. And then a little bit of the way through, I saw a rectangular hallway that appeared to be covered in eyes. There was just eyeballs all over this rectangular. I don't know. It was interesting. And then all of a sudden, symbols started flying at me from it again. Then I saw the rectangular tunnel that I saw from my past life regression when I was starting to get channeled. I saw that same thing, and then everything started to get really dark, and I started to get tranced again, like that void feeling. And then more symbols are flying at me. Then I saw a black cloud-like form become kind of a circular, and it was an imperfect surface or structure. During this process, I lost my hearing several times. Like I would hear the music and hear the binaural beats, and then it would just drop out. My limbs were definitely numb for much of the session. I attempted communication through my head, and I was trying to get something out of whatever I was connecting to. And then I also perceived that light was coming from in my eyes, but I had an eye mask on that had zero light when I opened my eyes. But when my eyes were closed, I felt like there was light to my left. It was very bright. So that was during the day of December 31st. Then at night, before all the New Year's stuff, I did a Focus 15 free flow. I entered a relaxed trance state, saw myself rotating around a tall, pointed mountain. And I'm going to show what this vision looked like. It was a tall, pointy mountain, but halfway through there was like a ledge where there was a giant white building that my first thought was, that looks like a government building. And then I was like, no, it's like Greek. It's a Greek building. So if you look at this image, this is what I saw, and I was kind of flying around it. Now, I AI generated this based on a drawing I had. And there was a lot of like one, two-story buildings down below this mountain. So the ones down below, I don't remember that because my focus was on the mountain and the white building, but it was very vivid and very new looking. Part of me suspects it might be a Greek like past time because it was such a new looking building, and I did a Google search. I couldn't find anything about it. The closest thing I could find was somewhere around Mount Olympus. It was interesting. It was clear as this was like a 90% vision. Like I was watching a video of it. It was so clear in my mind. I saw those shapes, the symbols flying at me again, the runes or what have you. And then I didn't see any symbols other than that. And then that was the end of it. So that ended December 31st. That was the end of my 2025. Then the next day, January 1st, I did a free flow Focus 21, but I did the Wave 6 tape this time. So it was the free flow in the Gateway tapes. I held a Super 7 stone, a quartz that has these little lines in it that I was told the theory is that it's like those are the record keeper crystals. And then I placed moldavite, a little green tactite, on my third eye because I'm trying stuff. I'm trying to see what happens. Very little activity during this session. I did my patterning like I always do, but nothing came from that experience. Then later in the day, I think in the evening, I did Focus 12 free flow. Spontaneous memory surfaced. So I all of a sudden remembered when I was 17 years old and I was at Dewey Beach, Delaware, outside of the Rusty Rudder, and I saw a tour bus there that I knew belonged to the rock band Fuel. And I knew they were going to be playing there. And I was across the street in a bookstore cafe that I was looking to see if I could play there. Random memory. Because I didn't see Fuel that night, but I just remember that was their tour bus. But that hit my head. And then I had a flashback to when I was working at the Apple store a few years ago, and there was some kind of talent show. And then I remembered that one person like threw a task on me 5 minutes before the talent show was supposed to start, and it was like a big ask, and I was really kind of mad about that due to their poor planning. Very random. And then my body entered a numbness state. I attempted an OBE by releasing my breath. So one of my biggest problems with doing OBEs, I feel like, is my focus on my breath. It's like when I don't breathe, I freak out. So this time I really try to take deep breaths and then release it, but then like let it out and hold it. And I got really close to an OBE where I felt like I was seeing flashes, like I was about to go, and then my body was like, and then it pulled me out, and that was it. Ended in disappointment. January 2nd, Focus 15 Free Flow with the Expand app. I saw the spaceship again with narrow. So I've been seeing these visions of being on a spaceship, and this was a very narrow spaceship. It was like square, like I don't know, kind of what I imagine like a metallic gray, rough around the edges human ship, like something maybe out of the ISS, International Space Station. It wasn't alien looking. It was just very industrial. A lot of squares, and then there was these very thin rectangular windows on the roof that I saw, but it all looked man-made. And then I saw something, and I assigned the term, because when it happens, sometimes I have to assign tag words so I remember it when I come out. I said in my head, Christ bed. I don't know why I said that, because it doesn't remind me of Christ or anything like that. But I wrote that down. What I didn't remember this initially. I only remembered it and I saw it again in a future vision, which I'll talk about in a minute. Is it was kind of like a pyramid, but a flat top, a pyramid with a flat top, and then there was a bed on top that you could open, kind of like a sarcophagus, but it was a little bit more square, and there was a lot of light coming from under it. It was very Egyptian. That was the first thought that hit me. It was very Egyptian. Then I transitioned to Focus 21. I didn't have any additional visuals there. And then the session felt darker and closer to the void. So it was like I was giving this black curtain over everything. It was getting darker. But that was the end of that. January 3rd, I saw my own face. Oh, I did Focus 12 Free Flow. I saw my own face, faded and sad, morphing, but remaining me. It was like kind of like flashing through a cloud. I entered a tunnel followed by a void state. That's where everything gets really black and dark. I saw that pyramid bed structure, and that's what reminded me. I was like, oh, now I see it clearly, and I know that's what I meant before, because I completely forgot the visual when I did it on January 2nd. But January 3rd, it came out, and then I very much felt like it was Egyptian. I was like looking around the inside of a pyramid. And then I was in a dark-filled room with kind of... there was like a hill, but it was inside, and there was all these little holes, and then a bunch of spears came out sharp, and then they all retracted together. I didn't know what that meant, but it faded out. After that, I did the 5 messages where you ask, what's the 5th thing that I need to know? What's the 4th thing? I entered the state that I needed to enter pretty quickly. Each question produced goosebumps. So when I would say, what is the 5th thing I need to know? I would just get a flood of goosebumps, and I didn't understand why. No visuals. And it happened all the way until what's the 1st thing I need to know, but I clicked out for that. So I don't even remember what was said, and then I woke up and we were coming out of the tape. I will say that before the tape fully ended, I saw light above, and a shadow observing was standing over me, and then it started to walk away. I don't know what kind of shadow. It's just what I saw. January 3rd night, I tried doing a Wave 3 liftoff. I did not experience a floating sensation. I clicked out during the tape, but on my way out, I saw an Asian eyes. Like I saw Asian eyes right here, and I believe it was a male. Very friendly eyes. Like they smiled and kind of perched up like they were smiling, looking down at me, and that was it. January 4th, this morning, I did a free Focus 12 Free Flow. So this morning when I woke up, I always go through TikTok because I'm always curious about what's going on. See if I can learn anything new. My FYP is full of psychics talking about their best practices. I saw 2 videos. One woman's video popped up, and she was talking about how she hears things from spirit in her right ear. And I was like, oh, that's usually where I hear things when I've had my experiences in the last couple of weeks. That's interesting. Then I saw a video of a lady talking about how she gets to, in her psychic ability, she'll start counting down from 100 in her head after she's taken a few breaths. So it keeps her analytical brain focused on the number, and it gets her to calm down. So instead of doing an energy conversion box this morning, when I did Focus 12 Free Flow, I did that instead. I counted down from 100. And the technique definitely helped quiet my mental chatter, especially with that thing with my family member who wants money. That really was clouding my thoughts. Then I saw a black fog obscuring visuals behind my eyelids. It was like completely black, like it was just covering everything I see. I did achieve body numbness, but no messages were coming through. Then I experienced a sudden thought of inspiration. I should do a podcast. And I should do it with this buddy that I used to do podcasts with, because he's also he and I kind of opened up to each other. We're both having, spiritual awakening experiences, I guess. And then I came out of it. So I do want to say that over those experiences, what I definitely had, let's see, across the sessions, the theme feels consistent. So I had strong altered states, deep physical relaxation, intermittent visuals, reoccurring symbols and structures, and repeated moments of silence where something feels present but refuses to fully speak or say anything or do anything at all. I will say that, again, this week my mind felt a little busy. I didn't have any remote viewing abilities and all that, but I did go to a Reiki healer yesterday. I'm going to do a whole video on this. And she brought up something that tied to my past life. She did mention something about a Native American and next to a large bear. And in my past life regression therapy, which was a few days before that, one of my past lives was I was a Native American. So I thought that was really interesting. But I'm going to go into a whole video on that. But yeah, it's like it wasn't as exciting as this past couple of weeks have been, but I'm staying the course. Let me know your experiences. If you have any suggestions, things that I could do to try to open up. I'm totally open to trying other meditations. I think I'm going to try doing some sitting up, because I always do them laying down in this room. So, and anything you could do to suggest or help, that'd be great. Otherwise, my name is Derek. This is the Gateway Log, and we'll see you on the next episode.